Hi, welcome back to Story Time with Mrs. Mullins. I thought I'd sit outside today. It's a beautiful day out. We'll see how this goes because of cars and things like that. So, the story today is called The Marked Man. So, we just read about Cain being the first murderer, the story behind why, and so this is what happened after. Okay. Cain was terrified at what he had done. As he saw his brother's body collapse to the ground, he wondered what had happened. He had never seen a person die. Then the awful truth dawned upon him that Abel was dead like the lamb on Abel's altar. Cain's anger turned to fear and remorse. He couldn't go back home. Not now. He could not face his father and mother after doing this dreadful thing. He couldn't face his brothers and sisters, for they would be angry with him. Perhaps they would want to kill him as he had killed Abel. He would have to run away as far as he could go and never come back. This is what sin does. It separates loved ones, wrecks happiness, drives peace from the mind and joy from the heart. As Cain fled from the scene, he heard God calling him. "Where is your brother Abel?" "I don't know," said Cain, as though he could lie to God. Then he said rudely, "Am I my brother's keeper?" "What have you done?" asked God. "Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." Of course, God knew all the time what had happened. We can hide nothing from him. He had witnessed Cain's dreadful deed. He had seen Abel's blood on the ground, and it cried out for justice. In the silence and helplessness of death, Abel cried louder than if he had been alive. Something had to be done about this great wrong. Cain had broken the 6th commandment of God's holy law, "You shall not murder." But by his pride, his jealousy, his anger, his selfishness, and his lying, he had broken all the other 9 as well. He had to be punished, but how? "Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground," God said. "When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." In his mercy, God did not take Cain's life, but sent him away from his home and from all who had been so dear to him. This is what just had happened when Adam and Eve sinned and God sent them away from the Garden of Eden. The lad was to be a fugitive forever, running for his life, a vagabond, a tramp who never dared settle down. "My punishment is more than I can bear," Cain cried as he realized what his sin had cost him. "Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." Poor Cain pictured himself as living in constant fear of losing his life. He would always be running farther and farther from home to which he could never return. Out of pity for his youth, who had been so dear to him from babyhood, God put a mark on Cain so that no one who found him would kill him. Just what this mark was, the Bible does not say. Maybe it was a change in his face, which sin, remorse, and worry always bring. Whatever it was, from this moment on, he was a different man, the first marked man in history. Marked not so he could be caught and punished, but marked by his punishment so he could be spared. The mark did something else. It reminded Cain, his wife, his children, and all who would ever meet him how awful sin is. It was a warning never to follow the evil thoughts that had brought so much sorrow upon Cain and his loved ones. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Did you ever stop to think what that meant to Adam and Eve? In one brief day, they lost 2 sons. Abel was dead. Cain, their firstborn, on whom they had depended so much, on whom they had pinned their hopes for the future, was an outcast. He was running toward the unknown lands in the east for fear of his life. What a dark day that must have been. Not since that awful night when they had taken their last look at Eden had they felt such loneliness and despair. Perhaps they even wondered whether life was worth living and what the use of hoping any more. But hope came again to their poor, sad hearts in the form of a baby. Soon Eve had another little boy. The Bible says, "And she gave birth to a son and named him Seth, saying, God has granted me another child in place of Abel, since Cain killed him." So they started again, believing and hoping that this might be the baby through whom the promised seed would come. And this time, though they did not know it, they were right. And this ends the story today. I hope you are enjoying these stories. I enjoy the Bible stories by Arthur S. Maxwell. I read them to Blaine when he was a baby. There's 10 of them, so we're just still on the first one, so we've got some ways to go. But I enjoy these stories, and I hope you're enjoying them too. If you would like to, comment down and tell me which one has been your favorite one so far. That would be cool. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. It's beautiful out here where we live. Hope it's beautiful where you live. God bless.